Hello everyone and welcome back to more AEW and TEW 2020. We are here in the third week of May, just 1 week away from Double or Nothing. And we start off with our show, our penultimate show of Dark before the pay-per-view. Riho and Diamante go up against each other. Riho wins with the jumping knee attack. After this, we see both members of the Best Friends, the tag team portion of it, holding their necks. They're still selling the beatdown from last Dark against the Cult of Cole. And they say, you want to play this game, Devon? Joey, I can understand. The guy's always been insane, but Devon? You've been part of a tag team that people all over the world have respected. A legend of the business like yourself. One of the original best indie tag teams out there. But now you're just a pawn for Adam Cole and his little stupid zombie shtick routine. But you know what? We're a tag team. You know how to do tag teams, and I'm sure you can convince Joey Janela easily enough. 2-on-2. Devon and Joey versus the pairing that will never be bad. A pair that truly knows what it's like to be good. Chuck and Trent. Wrapping up all of my minor stories, I do have my card for Double or Nothing already written out. I want to finish all of my feuds, though, so that they don't just die like they normally do. Layla Hirsch defeats Leva Bates. Vipers defeats Lavender Sky. That is fine. Following the match, all of the Boss Bitches rush into the ring, intercepted by Bianca Corelli and Roxy. Brawl continues for a while until the Boss Bitches get the upper hand. And as the Nightmare family retreat, Antonio Corelli yells at the Boss Bitches, challenging them in 6-women tag action. Next Dark, the Boss Bitches agree. So, setting up that'll end up that feud pretty quickly. Jay and Tay were supposed to be in there, but they haven't really. Ace Austin defeats Sonny Kiss. Josh Alexander defeats Jake Hager. After this, Dalton Castle is seen by himself. He's not with the troupe, and he's just talking to a camera. He says, the troupe is not good enough to win gold. That's a little bit rich coming from you, Tully Blanchard. See, let's recall a time not too long ago, only a few months ago, I was the FTW champion. Sure, whether or not that belt means much, whether that or not that belt actually is a legitimate belt in AEW, it doesn't matter. It's the biggest win either of our groups have had. I beat Samoa Joe. You can't even beat someone like Arn Anderson on an off day. This is an affront not only to me, but to my troupe. To call us not good in the ring, and next week on Dynamite we will finish this off. You can bring Davey, you can bring Fred, you can bring Tony. The troupe will give you an exquisite display of in-ring panache, the likes of which you've never seen before. This match is gonna suck on Dynamite, but because I'm putting it on Dynamite, it should be fine. More word about Rampage. Sam Guevara defeats Vikingo. The Future defeat the Lexing brothers. And then Antonia Banks shows up in a mock advertisement. He says that the people like Brutality Inc. and the Future, they're just full of themselves. They're trying to hang on to being relevant. But because he's a generous man, because he's part of the booking committee, he's discussed with Paul Heyman to let the three duke it out before the pay-per-view to fully settle their aggressions. This one will not be a pay-per-view match. I'm thinking the Rampage before. Possibly. Pac then defeats Scorpio Sky, speaking of the FTW Championship. Jesus Christ, that's better than most of my shows on Rampage. Ah well. Moving on to Dynamite. Moving on to our show of Dynamite, Jungle Boy defeats Donovan Dijak. They do have good chemistry, which makes for a very good match. Afterwards, another pre-recorded MJF contest plays, this time with the competition being an obstacle course. MJF insists that all of this is just to show up physical acumen rather than something that relies on other people, because of course before it was people voting that pushed Kevin and Rami over the edge. MJF, he goes through the course first. He beats it in a fairly reasonable time. Not, like, it's very obvious from what you see that it's not a world-shattering time. It's something that Rami and Kevin could beat. But as Rami's going through it, he's tripped up by Griffin Slade. Doesn't knock him out completely. He finishes with a slow time. MJF beats that. Just as what happened with Ramy, when Kevin Steen goes through the course, Chris Bay messes with some of the obstacles, and Kevin slips up on them, goes slower, and MJF, after seeing that he's won the contest that he rigged in his favor, and he started, it's like, oh, how good for me, oh, I win when it comes to things that don't rely on those unwashed masses that prefer people like you, and like you too. And the Two Faces were like, you did use other people, though, like, you cheated. And I'm just like, no, fuck that. I won because I am better than you. I need to get better at my weird, gimmicky angles. Brody Lee then defeats Carl Anderson. Jeff Hardy then comes to the ring after the match. He's dressed in street clothes. He says that, hey, Brody, you wanted to see me in person. Here I am. Brody, he takes a moment, you can see kind of his face shifting. He's like, holy shit, he is actually right here in front of me. Massive lariat to Jeff Hardy, and Hardy is knocked down. He's on the ground. Brody kneels next to Jeff. Camera zoom in, they can catch this, there's no mic in here. And he just says that Jeff will know what it means to be serious for once in your career. You'll know what it means to go up with someone like the fire that I have. After this, we just have a vignette hyping up Paige Van Zandt, kind of going through, hey, here's who Paige Van Zandt is, MMA fighter, fairly decent record, not, world-shattering by any means. Probably still has a contract in kayfabe with UFC. Well, not in kayfabe, but, like, would actually still have a contract with someone in MMA, but, just while she's not taking fights, working in AEW. Probably even talking about, like, and Heyman's like, and she will, of course, win in her first match ever against Layla Hirsch. And Paige Van Zandt probably even says some things about Layla Hirsch. If it sounds like I'm phoning it in for these last few shows, it's because on commentary, I probably am. I always do this when it gets nearing to pay-per-views. I start being like, alright, I want to get to the pay-per-view because then I can try to reset things because I always forget where the fuck I am in my storylines. Daga then defeats Kip Sabian. And then after beating Kip, he grabs the mic and he kind of sits like cross-legged right next to Kip Sabian. Maybe even like resting like his elbow on Kip, still pinning him down. He says, another man who disrespects the LWO, taken out behind the shed and shot. Now, how should I deal with this wilted rose? Well, I think I'll use this as a bargaining chip. Garza, you're someone with a great deal of influence in AEW. I mean, all the champions are, and I'm sure that as a TV champion, you're no exception. It just so happens that a few of my friends in the Latino World Order have a bit of beef with some other people. So how's about you contact them? You let the LWO settle its differences in some six-man tag action, or I ruin the pretty little face of your right-hand man. So, yeah, six-man tag, combine both those LWO stories. Not much. After this, Mayuri Watani is being interviewed by Renee Paquette about the thought of having to face another opponent so soon after her war with Utami. And Mayuri says, Priscilla Kelly, I'll admit, I don't know much about her in-ring work. Utami, I knew too well. I've fought against her many times before, and that was how I managed to squeak by with a win. But Priscilla Kelly's someone I'm not too familiar with. And because of that, I don't think it'll be an easy fight by any means. I mean, I don't think she's as good of a fighter as Utami, but she clearly has potential if the Bullet Club is backing her up. Interview is cut off by Priscilla Kelly, like, gets face-to-face with Mayu. I don't just have potential, I'm still a better fighter than Utami is. I already have skill. Yeah, sure, I lost to Chris Statlander, but that was a fluke, because I knew that I needed to save myself for this moment. I have the women's world title on the line, not just some flimsy little TV title. The other people can fight for that all they want. I'm in it for this title. She walks off, Mayu's like, alright, I respect it. Ricochet then defeats Andrew Everett. This will be a fun match to see IRL. Two very, very flippy boys, but they don't click. It's a shame. After this, Ricochet, he's showing respect to Andrew Everett. He's talking, You know, it's like, hey, it was a good match. Sorry, shame we didn't click. So Tony Banks gets into the ring, he starts speaking. He says, Ricochet isn't someone that speaks for himself. I can't deny that, Darby Allin. He's not someone that's known for getting on the microphone, for moving people with his words. Not someone who stuns the world with his prose, with being someone that's so articulate that people remember day after day what he had to say. But he doesn't just speak with words. As the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And I'd say that the actions that Ricochet shows on a daily basis in the ring can speak louder for his skills than I or anyone ever could. Darby, you are also a great in-ring worker. That's why I wanted this match between you and Ricochet, but you're just being naive right now. I mean, you, more than almost anyone, should know how actions speak louder than words, and yet you come at Ricochet for that very same thing. It's not over until you're dead. That is a phrase that speaks more than just the words that it says on there. That's more than what you want to say, and Ricochet will prove that that's true, but it's not just a saying. If that last part sounded a little bit rambly, probably because it was, I was making that up on the fly. Even more on the fly than this. After this, we see the Young Bucks walking backstage. They grab Alex Marvez and demand an interview. They talk about how they've matched up against the Briscoes many times before, and because of that, they're not scared of them. They know what they're all about. They've been in the ring many, many times together, and they know that it will be a tough fight, but they're more than confident that they're going to win the belts. They're betting money on it. And we'll see if that's the case. After this, we see... I feel like this is in the wrong spot. Oh well. Maki Ito is seen practicing for another pop song diss track on Kana, as she does, when Kana herself walks in. Maki immediately, she stops her choreography, she stops her singing, she storms up to Kana, face to face, maybe even a little bit of a headbutt, kind of staggers from that, and Maki's yelling at Kana, and Kana's like, oh, it's fine, I mean, you're practicing, I can leave right now, and, I mean, I commend you, you have really good work ethic, and Abaddon is good at being Abaddon. And if Maki's willing, Kana's fine with taking on Maki at Double or Nothing, and Maki's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do this. You are going to acknowledge me. Probably even a little bit of a pause for people being like, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. That Maki will be acknowledged as the cutest in the world at Double or Nothing. And in our main event, Adam Cole defeats Matt Sydal. Adam Page was on commentary for this. Hangman gets up from his seat after he was on commentary, of course, for the match. Gets up and he walks to the ring with his belt. He and Adam Cole get face to face. Cole, he's yelling at Hangman, and Hangman doesn't really say anything. He's just kind of staring. Cole, you know, pushing, shoving. He's getting very, very uppity. And Hangman's like, alright, you know, I'll let you get out your aggression right now. Wasn't expecting the aggression of Adam Cole doing a gut kick. Step back, charge it up, super kick to the face. Page is down, and Adam Cole, he's standing over him, says that he is the risen one because he doesn't just rise from the dead, he rises to the top of AEW. That's what he's going to do. We get a 78. That's a good show. I gotta use MJF in more things just by himself because MJF fucking rules. He's our only person getting blue segments, which is fantastic. He's the only person I think that's gotten anything blue. He had the blue match with CM Punk. He's had a couple of blue segments. I still don't know how to play this game, I'm gonna be honest. But we will continue on with Rampage next.